Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is Est, and by now we should have been scaling rooftops, sneaking through shadows, and living out our assassin's dreams in Assassin's Creed Shadows. But surprise, surprise, Ubisoft decided to hit us with a delay. So instead of diving headfirst into the game, we are now stuck counting down the delays until February. Like wondering if the extra time will actually make a difference or if we'll just end up with another buggy launch just to add to the collection. And let's be real here, this isn't exactly the first time Ubisoft has played the delay and pray card, and honestly, is getting really old. Originally, we'd have been well through our first playthrough by now, exploring new mechanics and storylines. But no, instead we are left sitting here scrolling through updates that are about as comforting as a shady loot box. However, I have a few things to say here, but before I do, we have a small request. If you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, smashing that like, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. We would greatly appreciate this, since this will help us appease those YouTube algorithm gods. So we thank you. Now let me give you our thoughts on this, and let's get into it. And speaking of updates, because what a thrill those have been, eh? If the latest news surrounding the game is supposed to keep our hype alive, I mean, they're doing a bang-up job of making us question whether the wait will even be worth it. So here's to hoping February doesn't turn into maybe March, or worse, maybe another year of vague promises. Like, Ubisoft, stop playing with our patience and just deliver already. Like, the executive producer just served up some grim industry tea. And AAA games now need to sell a staggering 10 million copies just to break even. Oh, Ubisoft, like, bless their little hearts. They can't seem to catch a break lately. Like, their big Star Wars Outlaws release barely eked out 1 million sales in the first month. Yes, Star Wars, one of the most bankable franchises in the damn galaxy. And it still flopped harder than an overcooked pancake. Like, over at BioWare, things aren't looking much brighter either. Their much hyped Dragon Age the Veilguard couldn't even crack out the 1 million mark. So 2024 just seems to be shaping up as the year where every so-called woke project is getting sent straight to the bargain bin. That's movies, games, it's all just one giant parade of failure. And with Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's practically dead on arrival. Maybe, just maybe, it's time for these studios to start asking what their actual audience wants instead of chasing trends that nobody asked for. Just a thought. Like, and the drama just keeps piling up for Assassin's Creed Shadows. So not only are we bracing for the inevitable battle pass and microtransactions, but this gem also stumbled into a 3-month delay that burned through an extra cool 20 million. So bravo Ubisoft, truly the pinnacle of efficiency. And speaking of leadership, executive producer Mark Alexis Cote is here to remind us again just how expensive it is to make games these days, as if we're all crying for him. And apparently, AAA game budgets are now flirting with Hollywood levels. So case in point, Firewalk Studios' Concord, which allegedly costed a jaw-dropping 400 million to create. For what? Like graphics that could have been rendered on a potato? And a gameplay mechanics that might have been cutting edge in 2010? Like seriously, where is all that cash going? Now, Cote claims the skyrocketing costs of modern games are all about their complexity and scale, with massive teams and endless resources supposedly required. Unlike the good old days of the original Assassin's Creed, right? And let's be real here, a chunk of that budget seems to vanish into DEI black holes instead of, actually making the game better. Case in point, Assassin's Creed Shadows serves up historical whoppers like Yasuke as the legendary Black Samurai. Now, despite no actual proof he ever earned that title, but hey, who needs accuracy when you can have inclusivity, right? Now, apparently, Ubisoft decided to take creative liberties to a whole new level, tossing in Japanese reenactment flags, misfit Chinese-style buildings, and some trees that apparently missed the memo on what season it is. Oh, and let's not forget the cherry on top here. the baffling one-legged toy reference, because nothing says historical accuracy like casually nodding to the Nagasaki atomic bombing. Like, after all that extra delay, you'd think they would at least try to fix something, right? But no, they just went full force in historically inaccurate fever dream. Bravo, Ubisoft. And let's be real here, like, Ubisoft hasn't seen a commercial win in what feels like ages. Even Kote had to admit that only about 10 AAA games hit the 1 million sales jackpot each year. And those are mostly sports rehashes, franchise juggernauts, and unexpected breakout hits. Meanwhile, Ubisoft can't seem to catch a break, like Prince of Persia barely made a ripple, Star Wars Outlaws feels like a galaxy-sized gamble, and Assassin's Creed Shadows? Yeah, don't hold your breath, it's not getting an invite to the elite club of blockbusters. And Ubisoft is in a bit of a pickle, competing with, well, itself. Like, so why shell out $80 for a buggy new Assassin's Creed installment with like mixed reviews when you can snag Odyssey, a polished, updated classic, for a fraction of the price? Like, turns out even Ubisoft's past self does a better job than its present self. Ubisoft's struggles is just an example of the industry's dumpster fire, like with bloated budgets, a never-ending sea of competition, and returns that are barely enough to cover the coffee. Like, their reliance on stale strategies and cringe-worthy narratives is a recipe for disaster. As much as it pains me, I'll probably give Shadows a glance when it drops, but don't hold your breath. Like everyone else, I am just done with the whole live service cash grab, and I'm just waiting for Dragon Age to show up in the bargain bin where it belongs. And for Ubisoft's future? Well, it's looking downright depressing. Like, whether Assassin's Creed Shadows ends up being a hit or just another flop in their growing list of disappointments, it's pretty clear that they've got a massive uphill battle ahead, and that's if they want a shot at recovering their former glory. Like, seriously, after a string of lackluster releases and questionable business moves, it's hard to imagine how they're going to pull themselves out of this nosedive. But hey, if they somehow manage to turn things around, I will be the first to say I was wrong. In the meantime though, it's hard to see a happy ending here. However, those are my thoughts here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, before you go, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. As always, this is Est, and I'm signing off now. So I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!